Join John into the abyss and find out why something got inside the bunker.
Day 1. My name's Gary T. Williams, working as a janitor. Got busted for being drunk at work yesterday, and now I'm stuck seeing a shrink. Apparently I've got something called depression, and the shrink says I gotta let off steam by writing a diary. Sounds ridiculous, but it's either this or lose my job. And who can afford that in today's America? I'm even forced to lug that thing to work just in case I need to write something down. Day 2. Just another crappy day. People say I should be grateful for snagging a government job with decent pay, but seriously, who dreams of being a janitor at 47? Seems like every day's just a rinse and repeat of the same old routine. I'm stuck mopping floors, brewing coffee, plastering on a fake smile, scrubbing toilets, and all sorts of menial tasks. But hey, at least I don't have to deal with the trash. They've got specialized folks for that, especially considering the top-secret nature of the place I work at. Day 3. Today wasn't half bad. The security check before entering the facility went surprisingly smoothly, especially compared to the usual hassle. It's always something beeping and some item I'm not allowed to take with me, like a lighter. And they always have to scrutinize my cleaning gear, as if I'm hiding something other than mops and disinfectant. Harry the inspector always cracks jokes like asking, "Is this a weapon?" while holding one of my brooms. He's a real comedian. At least that is what he thinks. Day 4. Another day, another round with Corridor 089. It's almost like they're trying to test my patience. One of those top-secret steel containers decided to spring a leak, spilling its contents all over the floor. They made it clear. Only the mop touches that stuff. That white-red goo is a nightmare to clean. I'll tell you that much. It took me hours and about 10 different types of soaps and disinfectants to get it sorted. Those steel containers always end up in Sector 22, and even I, the grand janitor, don't have access there. I do wonder what goes in and out of there that always makes such a mess. But I know better than to ask questions. Day 5. Happy birthday, Johanna. That's what I would have said to my dear colleague if she hadn't vanished into thin air right after lunch 5 years ago. Johanna was quite the talker, always chattering away about anything and everything. Of course, management doesn't take too kindly to that sort of thing. And who knows, maybe she slipped up and said something she shouldn't have. If I were one to indulge in conspiracy theories, I'd say she ended up in one of those barrels in Sector 22. But officially, the word is that she quit for a job with better pay. The problem is, she left behind everything at her desk, not even the photograph of her beloved pup, Anasi. Now, Johanna would never leave without that. But there it sits, gathering dust among the papers and pens. It's just another mystery in the long list of oddities around here. And who am I to question it? Just another cog in the machine, sweeping up after those who vanish into thin air. Johanna's disappearance? Just another part of the job, I guess. This is when the shrink would say that I am spiraling. Off to bed I go. Day 6. Today turned out to be rather pleasant. The lights outside the main entrance were on the fritz, as was the camera. It fell on me to sort it out, which translated to a day spent basking in the sun outdoors. Apparently, this task wasn't high on the priority list for the maintenance department. But truth be told, I didn't mind one bit. It felt refreshing to be outside for a change. I successfully fixed the issue with the lights. It was a simple fix involving swapping out a motion sensor, similar to changing a battery, which I also did for another light. However, the CCTV cameras were quite a challenge. They seemed to be more complicated than your average security camera. I told management that I couldn't get them up and running, and they assured me they'd send someone to address it. That usually translates to a fix happening a week or so down the line. Day 7, 12/16. I barricaded myself in the dressing room. I heard gunshots and screams just as the lights flickered out. Thankfully, the emergency generator kicked in, but now there are only those annoying lamps with a red glow on. I don't even know why I am writing this all down. I guess it is a desperate attempt to calm myself down. My heart is pounding so loudly it's the only sound I can hear. 12:29. I can hear something swinging and thumping against a wall somewhere, the rope creaking with each movement. It is almost hypnotic. My anxiety has lessened somewhat, and my hands have stopped shaking. Everything happened so quickly, I barely remember how I ended up in here. 12:57. There's some dragging sound outside, accompanied by this raspy breath. Would it be smart to peek outside? Or is that something that only happens in horror movies? I think I will stay put. 1303. It's unsettling to hear that tearing noise outside and some strange gibberish accompanying it. At first, I thought it might be terrorists speaking in a foreign language, but as I strain to listen, I can discern some words. Strangely, it reminds me of my cousin, who has a speech impediment. The gibberish comes in between the tearing noise, kinda like when someone's munching on something. 1319. I just noticed there's a gap in my barricade. It's not huge or anything, but I reckon I can sneak a peek through it without being spotted myself. I'll hang out next to it until I catch sight of something. 1359. What in the actual... Something or someone walked by. Okay, this is gonna sound crazy, but it looked like... Oh God, what have we done? It looked like a person, but purposely disfigured. Its hands trailed along the ground as it moved, its arms unnaturally long, and its jaw hanging slack, opening and closing with a popping sound, similar to the sound of bending fingers. Did this thing come from inside here? No, that's impossible. Right before everything went downhill, I heard a loud bang at the main entrance. This thing came from outside. 1433. I heard someone calling for help, and that thing bolted straight in that direction. Then came a scream, and then... silence. I couldn't help but gasp. My hands are shaking again. I can't control my breathing. 14. I think it heard me. It's tearing through the barricade. If anyone finds this... God, who am I kidding? I've got no friends, no family, except Aiden. If this diary ever sees the light of day, please tell Aiden that I didn't mean it. He was truly the only person I could call a friend. If only I could.